How's it going, everyone? I want to take you guys through some major PlayStation game news and updates. You can play a pretty big game from 2023 free right now in the form of a free trial. Along with that, a major free update has come out for said game as well. We'll talk all about that. On top of that, the Black Myth Wukong game page is live right now on the PlayStation website. Some details about that game. Surprised that it's actually coming out this year. This has been one game that I've been very skeptical about it actually coming out, but it looks like it'll be out this year, and just in a few months, so that release is quickly approaching. And an update to Final Fantasy 16 ahead of the release of the Rising Tide DLC tomorrow. Yes! That is out tomorrow. I think a lot of people have forgotten that that is coming out, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Right off the top, do want to note, Assassin's Creed Mirage is enjoying a free trial. It's a 2-hour trial from April the 16th, so yesterday it kicked off until April the 30th. You can play 2 hours of the game, and your progress will carry over if you do decide to purchase the game, and a new title update is available for all players, including a new outfit for the game, and looks pretty slick. It's an Ivor outfit, so you can check that out. That is available free as a title update for the game, and again, available for anyone that does play the game. The free trial is available now, and again, it'll last until the 30th. You can play 2 hours. The game is unfortunately not on sale right now, and I would not be dropping $50 on it. It'll go on sale again for 30 bucks at some point. $50 for some people was already a relatively high price point. I liked Assassin's Creed Mirage for what it is, a smaller scale Assassin's Creed game. No, it is not a complete throwback to the original Assassin's Creed games. Like, the original Assassin's Creed games, as in like AC2 onwards, they're really not going back to that layout and that gameplay style with AC Mirage. I think there's money to be made in doing a game in completely that style. I think the fact that Syndicate came out all the way back in 2015 and we haven't had a style of game in that way in a long time, I just think they can make so much money, but the issue is, what is the monetization level of a game like that? I don't know if Ubisoft is of the mindset that we can't monetize that game to the nth degree. Can we get people to drop $150 in a game that is done in the style of an AC2 or an AC4? I don't know. Maybe they just see this newer style of Assassin's Creed game as the way to really monetize it beyond its initial $70 purchase. I assume Assassin's Creed Red is going to be 70 bucks. The rest of them have been 60. And Mirage was initially expected to be an expansion. They just spun it into its full game, and that's why it's $50 versus $60, although there is a deluxe edition that is 60 bucks, and then there's a Master Assassin edition that is $90, which you gotta add the 4 additional cosmetic packs into the Master Assassin edition. So even for a game that was supposed to initially be an expansion, Ubisoft gonna Ubisoft, and they're gonna figure out a way to make more money on the back end. So, you know, that's typical Ubisoft MO. At the very least, play the game for free with the trial, and definitely don't be spending $50 on it. Get it for 30 or less, and really, you know, if you waited this long, is it the end of the world if you wait another 6 to 7 months, Black Friday comes around? It might be all the way down to like 15 to 20 bucks by then, so that's something to consider as well. Moving on from that, I do want to know Black Myth Wukong has got its PlayStation page live right now on the official PlayStation website. They are promoting the game, and the game is going to be coming out August the 20th. This game looks fantastic. I mean, from the get-go, when we initially saw footage, I want to say it was back in 2020, obviously, people were blown away from a visual and presentation standpoint. The game looked excellent in that regard. I was always of the mindset, okay, we see a lot of games like this. Look at a Crimson Desert. Look at so many other games that from a technical standpoint look incredible. I think about games like Lost Soul Aside that are just stuck in development forever. I don't know if we're ever going to get Lost Soul Aside, and I saw a comment on a recent video being like, bro, you got an update on this game? What's going on? It's like, bro, how am I going to have an update on this game? You think I have inside sources at what Ulti Zero Games is doing? I got no update for you, and I don't know if that game's ever going to come out, so my apologies. But Black Myth Wukong, on the other hand, we got a release date, August the 20th, and now it's got a PlayStation page up. I'm pretty confident that this game's actually gonna come out. How about that? Set out as the Destined One in this action RPG, confront your destiny on the journey westward. Black Myth Wukong is an action RPG rooted in Chinese mythology and based on the journey to the west, one of the 4 great classical novels of Chinese literature. You shall set out as the Destined One to venture into the challenges and marvels ahead to uncover the obscure truth beneath the veil of glorious legend from the past. fast. As the Destined One, you shall encounter powerful foes and worthy rivals throughout your journey, fearlessly engage them in epic battles where surrender is not an option. Aside from mastering various staff techniques, you can also freely combine different spells, abilities, weapons, and equipment to find the winning strategy that best suits your combat style. Telling the story of Wukong, explore a land of vast wonders, confront mighty foes old and new, temper your mastery of varied spells, discover heartfelt tales behind every facade. Looks to be quite the game, and I hope it turns out well. Again, coming from an unknown studio, and I'm sure it's gonna be a $70 game. What have I said before when we talk about Stellar Blade? One of the hardest things to do in gaming these days. New single-player IP, $70 from a relatively unknown studio. You're gonna have that again with Black Myth Wukong, but Black Myth Wukong is another one of those games that I feel like the anticipation is gonna be there as we get closer to August 20th, and people will be willing to spend $70 on it. We'll ultimately see how the game turns out, but it does look remarkable from a visual standpoint, and it will officially be out in just 4 months from now, so excited for that. Lastly, what's out tomorrow is Final Fantasy XVI's DLC, The Rising Tide. This is the more significant of the 2 DLC packs, and I do believe this is going to be the final bit of content for Final Fantasy XVI. I don't know, maybe they can expand the world even more, but they're rolling out a lot with The Rising Tide. But we've also got an update 1.31, that is dropping tomorrow alongside The Rising Tide. The following content is available to all players. Additional in-game content. Orchestrion roles have been added to regional shops, and roles available depend on main scenario progress, battle adjustment, player attack increased outside of select icon battles, and quality of life UI adjustments made in certain icon battles. There's also a bunch of iconic abilities and features adjustments. I'm not going to go through everything. It's a lot of refinements, and really, it seems to be more of changing cooldown, damage, and things of that nature, so interesting that they decided to roll all of these out. Accessory adjustments as well, quest adjustments, system changes, and a plethora of bug fixes. Rising Tide is out tomorrow. If you bought the expansion pass, it was $25, and you got both the Rising Tide and Echoes of the Fallen. I believe Echoes of the Fallen was released standalone at $9.99, and then this one, I would imagine, is going to be released at $19.99, given the expansion pass was $25, so I would imagine they would give you some sort of benefit of buying the expansion pass, and Rising Tide is a lot more significant than Echoes of the Fallen. You've got a new icon battle, you've got a sizable amount of content here by the looks of it, and you've got a lot of new features being rolled out. So I loved Final Fantasy XVI. It was one of my favorite games of last year. I get it that it's one of the most divisive Final Fantasies of all time, and I feel like with recent Final Fantasy games, that's been the case. FF12 was divisive when it came out in 2006. I know people look back at it incredibly fondly, and I loved it back in 06, but that game was incredibly divisive when it came out. Final Fantasy 13, super divisive. Final Fantasy 15, I feel like most people were in agreement of what FF15 excelled at and what it really fell short on. And most people would say that that game was not amazing, but there were really great qualities about it. With Final Fantasy 16, I think there's a group of people that absolutely loved it. My boy, that this was his first Final Fantasy game ever, and he's not typically into Japanese games, but he just saw FF16 getting promoted over and over again. He played the game, and it was his game of the year last year, and he doesn't play like every game that comes out, but he played Spider-Man 2, he played Hogwarts Legacy, like he plays a decent level of games, but he plays mostly Western games, and Final Fantasy 16 came out. The promotion got him to pick it up, and that was his favorite game of the year, which I think was the goal of Final Fantasy 16, to capture a new audience of Final Fantasy, and I think Square Enix did that masterfully, while also upsetting longtime fans that would probably want a more in-depth RPG-style experience, rather than a game that leans more on its action elements. Thought the game was great, thought it had some of the best boss fights I've ever seen in a video game, quite possibly the best boss fight, and it'll be incredible to see if they can top that, but Rising Tide out tomorrow. Hopefully that icon battle is going to be quite the whirlwind. But that is going to do it for me. Again, Assassin's Creed Mirage free trial available right now. Go check that out. You can play for 2 hours. Definitely do not be buying the game for $50. At that point, you're just getting robbed. Black Myth Wukong, the PlayStation page is live right now. August 20th, 4 months away. Super excited for that. And that release is going to be here before you know it. And Final Fantasy 16 Rising Tide due out tomorrow. Along with that, a patch is going to be dropping with a lot of refinements. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.